Lewis. You might know me from such podcasts as Shouting into the Void. We had some technical difficulties this week, for which I can only apologise. So we've lost the bit at the start, so we're going to hop straight into the bullshit section. So enjoy. It's a good job that we don't talk about anything political in any way. Okay, enjoy.
Matt Hancock.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Did you see that fucking video? God almighty.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So for those that don't know, honest actor and, decent man, Matthew Dick, was in the news last week.
Yes.
For a big reason, wasn't he, Lewis?
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's always up to something.
He's always up to something. He's busy being the health... What was it he said? I'm busy saving lives as the health secretary or something fucking stupid like that. I'm pretty sure 99% of our audience is in the UK, but for that 1%, Matt Hancock is the health secretary in the UK. So, yeah, he looks after the NHS and... Well, he pretends he does. In reality, he's having sex with AIDS, it turns out. People that he's working with, having an affair with... what was her name? I've forgotten.
Oh, I can't remember.
Neither can I. Mostly because the best thing to come out of this situation is the memes, which is always nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw one that's pretty spicy.
Spicy meme alert.
Spicy meme alert, folks. So turn off now if you don't like spicy memes. You know that meme of Drake sort of turning his head away from something, and then there's a quote, but then there's another one of Drake going, "Yeah, I like that."
Yes,
and then
course.
There's another quote. Yep, it was the one where he's turning away. It said, "Saving lives."
Mm-hmm.
That's where he was turning away, and the one at the bottom said "shagging wives."
Spicy meme.
Spicy meme.
I saw a particularly good one. It was a conversation between Matt Hancock and somebody else, and it said, "Babe, come over." And Matt Hancock replied, "I can't. I'm busy being the health secretary and saving lives." And the person said, "Okay, but your wife isn't home." And then it was a picture of Matt Hancock leaping over a fence, which appears to be an actual picture of Matt Hancock in, like, running gear, leaping over a fence. I'm not sure what that man gets up to in his spare... Well, I do know what he gets up to in his spare time.
We all do now.
Yeah, but for some reason, he there was a picture of him freely available on the internet, leaping over a fence.
Yes, I mean, I have to say, folks, as funny as it is to talk about that weaselly little shitbag, there is a serious sort of element to it. For the last year, Matt Hancock has been imploring us to follow the rules, to save lives. Mm-hmm. And when Neil Ferguson was drummed out of the magic circle for doing the exact same thing that Hancock has done, mm-hmm. he was like, "Oh, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it." All the while, breaking rules by himself.
Yep.
So he's put his family at risk.
Yes, he has.
His children at risk, and is also a skeevy, disgusting scumbag.
Indeed. I haven't seen my granddad in a year and a half now, a bit longer than that probably. And Matt Hancock's there having it off with his aide. It's absurd.
Exactly.
Thanks, Matt Hancock. You big fuck.
Yeah, it's really rather disgusting. And thank God he has resigned.
Mm-hmm. Here's a hot and spicy take about the situation. I think that I don't think the affair was orchestrated. I think the leaking of the footage was orchestrated by Boris.
Why?
I think it was orchestrated by Boris because now that we're all getting jabs, that's another thing we should say. Everybody over 18, you're allowed to have a jab now. So book in, go and get your jab.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, now that everybody is available to have one, it's like you can sort of just about see the light at the end of the tunnel of fairly soon people are going to be all jabbed up and we can more or less just go back to seeing our mates and I can go and see my granddad and I can do stuff like that. And I think Boris knows that at the end of COVID, people are going to look back over it and go, fucking hell, Boris did a pissing terrible job, or at the very least, the
Yeah.
Tory government did a fucking terrible job of dealing with it. So I think that this was part of a plan that Boris was like, I'm going to defame and discredit Matt Hancock as much as I possibly can. And then when people ask those questions, I can say, whoa, it wasn't me. It was the health secretary who's supposed to be looking after the NHS, ensuring good vaccine rollout, etc., etc., etc. That was my pet theory. So I suppose Matt Hancock did the clever thing to protect his own arse by quitting as the health secretary, because it means that now Boris will either have to find a way to pin it on Sajid Javid. He's the new health secretary, isn't he? Or Boris will, I don't know, do something, won't he? He's not going to pay for anything in his life, is he? But
No, I mean as much as of a cunt Matt Hancock is, he is a symptom of a Conservative Party that doesn't give a fuck about you or me or anyone that's listening, unless you are an ultra rich mega billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And people continue to vote for them, which is,
I know, it's insane. It's
call me crazy, but as horrible as this is, I really hope that this will solidify the utter lack of integrity in the Tory party. I mean, this is just normal. It's normal behaviour. This now, just being a rule breaking, adulterous dick. It's just so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Boris himself is a serial offender.
Yes.
You know,
how many kids do you have, Boris? I don't know. He doesn't know how many kids he's got. That's fucked.
You know, we're being led by a serial liar who hides from journalists in fridges.
Oh God,
He just completely disregards people that are lower than him. Matt Hancock, you've got Rishi Sunak, you've got Priti Patel. These people are just horrible individuals, and it's. I just hope that people are like, right, fuck this. We need something else.
Anything else, because I just fucking hate it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Our local MP for where we are, we voted her in as a Labour candidate, and then I think it was a couple of months into her tenure, not tenure, what's the word? Her term, she defected to the Tories. So now we have a Tory MP. It's absurd.
I mean, yeah. So folks, let's try and get them out, shall we?
Yeah, let's try and get them out, and then when we've got them out, then we can topple capitalism slowly. We're one step closer to toppling capitalism.
Lewis, fucking hell, what are you doing?
I'm giving the game away. Fuck.
Don't give the game away so early.
Oh God.
I mean, just whatever side of the aisle that you're on, you know, if you believe in decent leaders and just let people to be held accountable to, then the only logical conclusion you can come to is that we just need some new people.
I think public office is
turbulent times.
Yeah, I think public office is like, it's one of the only situations in which you really should judge someone's fitness for their job based on their moral standing, because if someone wants to be an accountant but they've cheated on their wife previously, those two things are probably unrelated, but you want somebody with a good moral standing to be a prime minister or MP or local councillor or anything. You want somebody that has morals that you agree with. So by electing,
or just morals,
morals at all. It's another thing that gets me is like these laws about pubs and such. You can drink in a pub now, but you have to sit down within the pub and you have to be socially distanced away from people. And somebody sort of said this on their sign, like, you can come in and have a pint, but you have got to be sat down at the table, and we're going to be socially distanced and cleaning everything. And then below that they put a picture, and they said, that man with the blonde hair drinking a pint of beer, that's Boris Johnson, 3 weeks ago. He is stood up in a crowd of people that are crushing him. He's not observing social distancing guidelines. He's had COVID, and he doesn't seem to give a shit. It's just ludicrous.
No, really, it's do as I say, not as I do.
Mm,
And, you know, maybe that's fine if you're a parent and you've got a 2-year-old to look after. But when you're, you know, being paid by the taxpayer to govern and help people and make life better for people, then
Yep.
the least you could fucking do is observe your own fucking rules, you disgusting, slimy dick.
I know. Yeah, it really frustrates me, because the frustrating thing is none of them are going to see any consequences for this.
Oh, no.
They're all too rich to see any consequences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they resign and then they disappear and we never see them again.
One rule for me and one rule for them. I hate it.
Yeah. It's like a really shite game of Jenga where one sort of disgusting, greasy, xenophobic, racist tile is removed, only to be replaced by something that can only be described as worse.
Yeah, I remember in the run-up to when Boris was got elected, there was sort of a period of a few weeks in between when Boris was chosen as leader of the Conservative Party and when he sort of was officially made leader, and he sort of replaced Theresa May and took the job as PM. And in that sort of period, there were lots of people saying, okay, yeah, this looks really bad, but in the past, Boris Johnson has made some potentially good decisions, and he might be good at these things and whatever it might be. I remember reading this story written by someone when Boris was making most of his money as an after-dinner speaker. Anyway, he came in and he sort of he made a show of being clumsy and late and disorganised and all this sort of stuff, and then delivered a brilliant speech and all this sort of stuff. And then it happened again. Several years later, they'd hired Boris as an after-dinner speaker for something or other, and then he made the same show of being late and disorganised and making jokes and all this sort of stuff, and then he got up and delivered a spectacularly good speech. So I remember reading this article and thinking, oh, well, maybe if we're lucky, Boris will have it all together while he's in office, and he'll know what he's doing, and he'll make a show of being this disorganised, funny mayor of London that he was for quite so long, and then now that he's in power, he'll start to take it seriously. Maybe and no, he didn't. No, he didn't. It's not. Just God, I hate it.
Yeah. But let's not dwell on it for too long. Folks, get the vaccine. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully things will get better soon.
Indeed.
Yes. So this week we are talking about the film Yesterday, and it was written by Richard Curtis, and it is directed by Danny Boyle, and it is starring Himesh Patel, Lily James, Ed Sheeran, Robert Carlyle, Kate McKinnon, and Joel Fry.
Indeed it is.
Yes. Do you have an opening statement? I
do. A strangely engaging movie. I never liked the Beatles that much, just in general. I think they've got something interesting to say, sure, but I don't think, I've never thought, I've never liked listening to their albums, for example. But I really enjoyed this movie. We put it on just because it came on Netflix, and we thought, I kind of wanted to watch that, and Tamwa from EastEnders is in it, so we'll put it on. And then it was really good. I was gripped right from the start to the end. Such a really engaging human drama. I really liked it.
Excellent. A disgustingly sweet tribute to one of the greatest bands of all time, with weird internal logic that makes no fucking sense, but well, it's cute, I guess.
What's the disgusting internal logic that makes no sense?
What is the rules for stuff that's going missing, and why is it that three people
that's true.
remember the fucking Beatles? What? So first of all, it's fine, the Beatles have gone, okay. That's a good sort of start.
But also Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, Coca-Cola, cigarettes, which I find very difficult to believe.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, is everybody smoking cigars and pipes?
What was Winston Churchill doing? Trying to get through World War II? Was he eating caviar or something?
Even more heavy drinking, I imagine.
Was it extra strong mints that he was?
It was those Trebor extra strong ones where they come in a tube and then you eat one and your mouth freezes solid.
Yeah, I mean, how rubbish to take away the iconic imagery of like a horrible bastard like Castro, like smoking a big Cuban. Do you know what I mean? Or like Tony Soprano. Every gangster film ever has been robbed of Cuban cigars. It's like, come on now. Or maybe cigars have survived.
Maybe.
And it's just cigarettes that have gone. But who knows?
Hard to say.
Yeah, so that's my main issue with the film. Like, just name dropping something that's gone missing. And it's like, well,
I
why
agree
is it
with
gone
you,
missing?
yeah. That is an annoying thing. I think that the only reason I can sort of excuse it is it's while it's a plot device, it's not what the film's about. Do you know what I mean? It's more of it's a human drama where a funny thing has happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, at least Yesterday understands the Harry Potter dilemma, you know?
Yeah.
No one knows the author, but
Oh,
Harry
yeah,
Potter
exactly.
survived.
That's so weird,
Yep.
isn't it?
I have no idea who wrote Harry Potter.
Yep, no idea.
Yep,
Maybe Himesh Patel
absolutely.
wrote Harry Potter. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a
Hard to
better.
say.
That's we're going to say that from now on, folks.
Yeah,
Himesh
Himesh Patel.
wrote Harry Potter.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. It really annoys me.
I think I know what you're about to say.
Do you?
Are you about to say how it ends with them getting married?
No, but that does annoy me.
Well, that's one of my notes, so we'll have an argument about that in a bit.
Yep. It really annoys me how, like, in films, they carry on conversations in different settings.
Yeah, that pisses me off too.
Like,
Why did you wait until we were here to ask me that question?
yeah, do you want the good news or the bad news? And then, like, they cut to, like, they're on a fucking beach. The good news is, look, wait, sorry, you waited all that, you didn't say anything until you got down to the beach and started having a conversation about it. Yeah. Fuck that. I hate that.
Yeah, I utterly hate that too. Okay, here's my thought on them getting married at the end. I quite like it because
Why?
Because here we go. Here's a hot and spicy take. Because at the end of a lot of rom-coms, the couple gets married and then it's okay. That's the end of the film. You don't see any of their life after that. This is what I like about this film, in that it's not about their wedding. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is, a lot of rom-coms are about the wedding that happens at the end of the film. Like at the end of Mamma Mia, I'm pretty sure Amanda Seyfried and Dominic something, I've forgotten his name, but I'm pretty sure they get married at the end of that film, and it's about their wedding more than it is about their relationship. I appreciate that at the end of this film, we see their marriage more than we see their wedding. It's like, yeah, they got married, okay, great, but then what? Because that doesn't necessarily mean that it's all happily ever after, does it? But then we see that they sort of mature as people, and we see that they mature and they sort of have kids, and they keep what's his fucking name? Who opened a door to no one? Oh, pissing shit.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't fucking remember either. But the guy that was helping Himesh Patel out throughout the whole film, I like that they sort of, you see them have a family. Gavin! That's the fucker.
That's it.
Oh, that has made me, like, I've got like a weird surge of adrenaline now. But yeah, I like that you see their marriage and the life that they build together. I think that's a much more valuable way to do that than it is to say, oh, and it's their wedding and that's the end of the film. Do you know what I mean? What's the point in that?
Yeah. I mean, I just think Richard Curtis likes marriages.
Probably.
Like, he did love Actually as well, didn't he?
Oh, he might have done. I'm not entirely sure.
I think he did.
Richard Curtis. IMDb. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, About Time, Love Actually, Notting Hill. It looks like he's the guy you call for rom-coms.
Yeah. Did he not work on Blackadder? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I think he did work on Blackadder, yeah, bear with me. Yeah, Blackadder.
Yeah.
I think it was co-written by this guy and, what's his name? Ben Elton.
Yeah, Ben Elton. That's right. Yeah, so I think he just likes weddings, which is fine, but it's just like, really annoys me. So I guess this film is just like the bootstrap paradox.
What makes you say that?
Well, there's that scene in Doctor Who, as Darius will probably remember, where Peter Capaldi's like,
Google it.
Yeah, he's like, he becomes Beethoven. And history continues with barely a feather ruffled. Like that. I mean, it's like, the Beatles don't exist. but he remembers the Beatles and publishes. Well, is it? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay, let's take a step back. Because
Well,
I was talking to Chloe about this ages ago, and she pointed out the problem with the Beethoven analogy is that it's entirely possible that just some guy could write Beethoven's music just by coincidence. He could spill an ink pot, and the ink might fall into the shape of those pieces of music. But the original example is somebody time traveler goes back in time and tells Albert Einstein what the theory of relativity is. So then Albert Einstein publishes it. The idea is that...
Where did the time traveller get the theory of relativity?
Well, exactly, yeah, because in the history books it'll say Albert Einstein, and then he goes back in time and tells Einstein. So in our world, it makes sense because you're like, oh, well, Einstein was just a clever bloke then. Oh, no, he wasn't. Some other guy told him. So then the idea is that it's impossible for anybody that's not Einstein to have come up with that. So
yeah.
I suppose what the film is leaning on is the idea that, in theory, it's possible for Jack to have actually written all these songs. In theory, obviously we, the audience, know he didn't. He's remembering them from being songs that the Beatles sung, but he might have just written them, you know?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because like the amount of songs that he remembers. Like, I mean, I like the Beatles, but I can barely fucking remember half the shit that they did. Like,
I don't like the Beatles, but yeah.
I suppose if you're a musician... I can't believe that, but I suppose if you're a musician, then you probably know a bit about the Beatles, I guess.
It's yeah, I suppose you're right. Maybe if the Beatles are like one of his big musical influences, he might know a lot of the songs. And I like also that we see him struggling to remember the words to that one song. It's like, was the bride darning her socks? Was the vicar darning her socks? Yeah,
Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that while he's like remembering these like amazing songs that like change the world for a lot of people, it's like he's up against like the corporate Hollywood / music industry machine.
Yeah, I like that it's anti-capitalist as well, this film.
Yeah, very much so. Hey dude, get yourself to fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
That lady, hey dude. Oh, that was bloody Ed Sheeran. He said that.
Oh yeah, he's in this.
Yeah, that's a bit insane that Ed Sheeran's in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like a chance for Ed Sheeran to let, say, hi, I exist and I'm really good. And here's a few of my songs in montage form. Like, what the fuck? They couldn't get anyone else, could they? They had to get Ed Sheeran because he was popular in 2019 for some reason.
Do you not like Ed Sheeran?
Oh, he's alright.
Yeah, I think he's alright. I think some of his songs are better than others, but I can't sing or play a guitar or do anything, so who the fuck am I to talk about that?
I don't think he's a genius. I think he's alright.
Yeah, genius might be stretching it. I think the thing that I like about Ed Sheeran is the thing that people like about Jack Parrick in this film is that is it Parrick? I said that and it sounded right. Malik, that's it. That just came out of my mouth and I was like, that's not right. But yeah, Jack Malik is Ed Sheeran seems to be... I mean, I know he's not writing all these songs himself and coming up with it all himself, but I like that he's singing about things that have happened to him. Do you know what I mean? And that's sort of what you're supposed to think about Jack, is he's singing about things that are supposed to have happened to him, sort of thing.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's like right what you know, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a favourite Beatles song, even though you don't like them?
I think it would probably have to be Back in the USSR, or maybe Help. They're both quite good. My thing with the Beatles, right? I don't hate the Beatles. I'm not out here saying like campaign to stop listening to the Beatles, everyone. But like, I'm just not. I've never sat down and thought, oh, I could do with a good Beatles session. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I mean, generally speaking, I know I'm an outlier in this sense, but I just don't listen to that much music anyway. Yeah. Like, so I suppose it's kind of that. Like, I just don't listen to that much music anyway, and when I do listen to music, the Beatles aren't high up my list. If they came up on a playlist or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is all right. But I wouldn't. I'm not an adoring fan of the Beatles. Like,
yeah, no, fair enough. I get you.
Have you got a favourite Beatles song?
Hey Jude always gets me. I've got to say. I do like Hey Jude. But like, they're all, even though like some of the songs that you don't even know them, and yet you do, if you know what I mean. You don't know the lyrics, but you can just get this, you know.
I think that my problem with the sort of ballady Beatles songs is that the vibe is a bit off for me. I don't know what it is. I think it's whether it's their voices or something, because the words are beautiful, but I don't like listening to their voices. I think that's something I struggle with the Beatles. Look, I love Himesh Patel's voice. I've listened to the album for this movie on repeat pretty much constantly since I watched the film. But like, I just don't like the voice of the Beatles very much. I've noticed that a lot with myself. Like, people's voices is like something that I value a bit more than other people seem to. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but like, I forget who it was, but you said, "Oh, do you like this YouTuber?" And I said, "Oh, I tried to watch some of their videos, but I just thought their voice was annoying." And you were like, "Oh, right. Oh my god, okay." I struggle to watch someone's content or something if I find their voice annoying in any way. I know that perhaps makes me shallow in some way. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it does. I think, you know, we all have our tastes, and some voices grate on the ears, don't they? You know.
True.
Just depends on what you can tolerate and what you listen to. But before we go on with any more notes from our end, why don't we listen to some of our patrons' notes about the film?
Ooh, there we go. A gentle move. Before we do quite edge into that, this film, it's worth pointing out, was recommended to us by Aditya, who is one of our patrons, one of our longest, I'm going to say longest running, that's not the right word. He's been patroning us for a very long time, and so thanks for the recommendation, Aditya. If you would like to recommend a film for us to talk about, you can go to patreon.com/shouting into a void. No, the void. And you can check out our tiers, be a patron, and you can recommend things for us to do.
Yes,
and you can also give your opinion on things we're about to do.
Yes, you certainly can. And speaking of Aditya and opinions, Yesterday is an amazing homage to the Beatles band, and Himesh Patel and Lily James are amazing actors and play such symbiotic lovers, Jack and Ellie, within this film. It is comedic and is amazingly funny, written by Richard Curtis. Furthermore, it is estimated to have costed around $10 million to use the Beatles songs.
Almighty, that's a lot of money.
I know, that is a lot of money. If you love the genre of romance comedy, you will love this film. However, if you love the Beatles, then you will also love this film. Do you know, I love the sort of... Aditya sounded as if he was like working for the marketing team there. That was amazing.
He's on PR for Universal.
Yeah, even though I've got my problems with this film, I was like, better watch it again. Jesus Christ, you know.
That's a good take. They're sort of symbiotic lovers in a strange way. I think maybe that's what the marriage bit at the end was trying to get across, was that it's less that they're just two people whose worlds have collided, more that they've always wanted to sort of have a life together, and it's only when circumstances allow that to happen that they really can have a life together.
Yeah, absolutely. An opinion from another one of our long-standing patrons, Darius, who is in the chat right now listening to us live
on air. Yeah, he's listening to Danny sneeze every 10 minutes because he keeps chucking pepper up his nose. It's the whole thing.
Yep, you know, it's either that or cocaine. You know,
it's like an intense form of aversion therapy. Instead of snorting cocaine, you snort up ground black pepper. Oh, absolutely. God, that would like... Oh, God, ground black pepper. That would make
Did
you
you just imagine that a bit too clearly, Lewis?
Yes, I can, because that's one of the thing that does get me is when I sort of have a pinch of pepper or something and I put it in some food, and then I forget to wash my hands, and I'll sort of pick something out of the pot to eat it and test if it's cooked. And then I'll be like, that's a really spicy piece of corn. What the fuck is wrong with this? And then I'll remember, oh no, my fingers are coated in pepper. So I can't imagine just inhaling peppercorns. That would be insanity. Ugh, that's horrible.
Well, we all need a bit of insanity now and again.
Do we?
Yes, let me read the opinion! Darius says, very late opinions on Yesterday. It's an enjoyable summer film with a great cast and an interesting way to give Pepsi the main product placement. That's true. Ed Sheeran's kind of... Oh my God, Darius, you have just... A beam of light has hit me in the head. Maybe like, Pepsi funded this film, and like,
Maybe
the only
they did,
way
though.
they were like, right, well, we're not saying that Pepsi's great. We're just going to get rid of Coca-Cola, and then you can have your moment in the spotlight.
I like that implies that Richard Curtis is like high up there on the board of people deciding the funding decisions for this film.
Yeah, no, I imagine he is. You know, he's a persuasive guy, and he just makes sure that all the board members get married at some point, and he's all good to go. Ed Sheeran's kind of funny in it. I don't think he's that obnoxious in real life. And the final note: how can you not like the Beatles? They've got loads of songs,
Oh God.
and their style kind of changed in the middle of their career, partly due to the influence of LSD. The main character is a massive plagiarist.
Well, yeah. Ed Sheeran's meant to be like a really down-to-earth guy in real life, like in interviews and all this sort of stuff. He comes across quite down-to-earth, and so I suppose that's good.
Yeah, true.
How can you not like the Beatles? Something about the Beatles, I don't know. It's never quite. I feel like the stars have never quite aligned for me. It's like I'm looking at them through a telescope where the lenses aren't quite in focus. I don't know. I feel like I don't quite get the hype.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I don't think they're like gods or anything like that. I just, I think that they're a good band with that had some decent songs on them. But there's no doubt, like even if you don't like them, there's no doubt about the impact that they had.
Oh God,
on,
yeah, such a huge
popular
impact.
culture, and the main character is a massive plagiarist, but he also then sort of tries to make amends by releasing all the songs for free, which is what you should have done at the beginning. But I like Kate McKinnon's character, who's just like the epitome of greed.
Yeah, I like
and
Kate McKinnon's
money.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, like, in the name of money, stop. Not the law, not
the law,
good.
just money.
Just money.
Also,
But yeah.
Aditya raised an interesting point in the Patreon Opinion channel. It's not an opinion, it's just an interesting factoid. Aditya realised that Sophia DiMartino is in this film. She played Carol. She is currently starring in Loki on Disney+. This is not sponsored, but please Disney sponsor me.
Yes.
Yeah, she's currently in Loki.
Even though we hate you, Disney.
Even though we
sponsor us.
hate you, please sponsor us. Yeah, as it's Sylvie Laufey's or something. It's like she's in Loki at the minute, and she was also in 4 O'Clock Club with us, bizarrely.
Who was she in? Who was she in 4 O'Clock Club?
She was Miss Parkwood. She was a music teacher one year.
Oh, well,
I think it was our first year.
Yeah, I remember now. That's right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can get some acting roles, Lewis, if we reach out to her. Look, hey, do you remember those 2 13-year-olds that you may or may not have spoke to at one point in 2013 when you filmed that kids show on CBBC? We're grown up now and we're desperate as fuck.
Yeah, we're grown up and poor. Can I please have some work? No, you can't.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely doing that. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna be like,
Fucking hell.
Sophia DiMartino, where are you? No, I won't do that. That's a bit weird.
Yes, it fucking is.
Yeah, I'm secure enough to admit that, Lewis.
True.
But thank you so much to our patrons for your opinions.
Indeed, thank you very much. If you would like your opinion on whatever the hell we're going to talk about next heard, you can become a patron, and then you can come onto our Discord server and talk in our Patron Opinion channel, imaginatively named. Come and say what you think about whatever we're doing.
Absolutely. I have a question.
Yeah, hit it.
Is a good song enough to make it, or does the context of the song matter?
I think the context of the song definitely matters.
Yeah.
I think that's... Like, for example, one of my favourite bands is Creedence Clearwater Revival, and they were, big during the 60s. That's weirdly so were the Beatles. How that's weirdly relevant.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But I think one of the reasons their music did as well as it did is because they sang a lot of anti-Vietnam stuff, and that's still their biggest stuff. It's their most listened to on Spotify and that sort of stuff. And I think if they had been singing about like ice cream or something instead, I don't think it would have done quite as well. I don't think they would have been quite as relevant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it does have to be at least in some way relevant to the modern day, as it were, whatever time that might be.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think that if the Beatles disappeared in real life, that people would absolutely love the songs? Like, because I was I thought that the aesthetic of the Beatles is what did it as well. The fact that
yeah, I
they're
think
from
you might be
Liverpool
right.
and Abbey Road and stuff like
It's
that.
almost like a grassroots type thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the cultural context was different when those songs came out.
Yeah, that's a good
and they
point.
sort
Yeah.
of grew with it. But just there are people out there that have written fantastic songs, some of which I know, and they'll never well, not at the moment obviously, but they haven't reached that level of success. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
I know what you mean.
Are the songs on their own that good to just take
That's a good
the guy
question,
to
yeah.
stardom?
Because some of them do feel like almost poetry-like, but I don't know. That is a really good question. I mean, Christ knows I can't answer it, but yeah, I think some of their songs only did well because they were the Beatles. It's like how
Yeah.
Stephen King can write any pile of trash and it puts Stephen King on the front and he'll sell 1 million copies. So
Yeah, let Doctor Sleep.
which I have not read. Was it crap?
Yeah, I've read it. It was rubbish.
Okay, but so if you take away Stephen King's name, how many of his good things are good? That's actually here we go. This is me being clever without realizing it. Stephen King did that. He started off like a secondary writing career as Richard Buckman. Just a name he pulled out of thin air. Yeah, just wrote a sequence of stories. I really, really like them. They're really quite dark. Like, you might know Thinner. They made a movie out of it. Yeah. That was a Richard Buckman one. I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head. But yeah, he wrote quite a few stories, and I've got like a collected edition somewhere of all of the stories in one book. And in the foreword, he sort of says, I wanted to see if my writing was good, because I had momentum now. So I wanted to see if my writing was good, or whether it was just right place, right time sort of thing. And as his books went on, I think he said that the final Richard Buckman book he wrote sold 82,000 copies, or it might have been 28,000, I can't fucking remember. But it was some number that was quite impressive, and he said, that's quite good. It's good for a sort of newish author, and Bachman had sort of quite a cult following, and I got fan mail every now and then addressed to Richard Bachman, and it was sort of really good. And but apparently, yeah, the whole sort of scheme, as it were, crumbled because I think, I might not be remembering this right, but I think it was a library clerk or clerk, however you're supposed to say that, that sort of traced back the copyright of the intellectual property of the book, and it traced back to Stephen King. So they sort of connected the dots and brought the whole operation crumbling down. But yeah, that was the point, was that as King wrote these books, they sold more and more copies. So he was sort of like, okay, looks like I am actually quite a good writer then. It wasn't just right place, right time. So
yeah,
if the Beatles, I mean, it's impossible to consider because they were such an enormous band, but if the Beatles had a secondary career as the Worms and they released songs as the Worms, would those songs do well with the same level of songwriting ability and musical ability put into them?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth noting that books and music are two completely
oh Christ, yeah, completely different
genres,
mediums, yeah.
You know, but it's an interesting sort of thing to consider, and like, what I don't, I put this at the end of the notes that I did, and I'm not sure it makes much sense now.
Okay. Well, we're fairly clever. We'll figure it out.
Well, okay. So I put what was the need of this film? Like, maybe do a film about a great band that didn't get recognised or something like that.
Yeah.
rather than just a sort of 2 hour wank fest over the Beatles.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a good point.
And because there are just so many great songs out there written by so many great people, that'll just never get to the place that they deserve to be. And I think a lot of the time, I know, especially as in the acting world, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it is a lot of the time it is luck. That gets you to gets you parts and gets you up there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, for example, I don't want this to sound like really patronising, but we know an actor called Simon Lowe, who is absolutely fantastic. Like he's mesmerising when you watch him, and it's like, well, why doesn't he have his own comedy show or something like that? There are just people that you see work and
so
are
incredibly
so talented,
skilled and
that just deserve something like that. And it's just really strange how the dice falls and how people like Adam Sandler are doing amazing in life. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Grown Ups is funny when you're about 12, but it's like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird indeed. I think it's hard to make a movie that's depressing. I think that's probably the reason, is that a movie that ends with "and then the band weren't successful," that's not, nobody's going to watch that. Do you know what I mean? I suppose unless you sort of spun it to be like, and the band weren't successful, but they had a really great time doing it. Like, do you know what I mean? They were performing in pubs to 3 people, but they had a really good time.
Yeah, or they gave up fame for to be together and just do what they like rather than selling out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you do if Verity Lambert and Sidney Newman just didn't create Doctor Who?
They were erased from existence, and I was the only person that remembered them.
Yeah.
Well, I think first port of call would be, I'd probably go to Chloe and say, "Honey, do you remember this show, Doctor Who?" And she'd go, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" Because that's what everybody was like with the Beatles. And then I imagine, I have no idea, because the question is, would you go to the BBC? Because I don't know enough about classic Doctor Who to recreate all of those decades of stories. I can probably vaguely remember enough about modern Who to recreate the stories, but would I?
Yeah.
I don't know, because in my life, well, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm not... I suppose the question is, would it be something that I would also match over with a personal goal, if that makes sense? Would it help me to live the agrarian dream of my sleepless nights? Do you know what I mean? I honestly have no idea.
I mean, that's provided that Terry Nation doesn't create the Daleks anyway, and makes something with them outside of Doctor Who. You know, if nothing of Doctor Who remains by the time you're your age, and you just remember everything. I definitely some of the stories of New Who, I definitely just straight out plagiarize.
Oh God,
you know?
yeah.
I'd be I'd write a short story about Blink or something like that, you know, or I'd try and get a short film made about Blink or just an episode or something like that, because there are just some episodes that just need to be, seen because they're just that good.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and some episodes that have sort of very important things to say in a funny way. Darius has just put into the chat, the idea of Doctor Who is so batshit crazy that no one would buy it. I think he might be right there in a strange way. It's
yeah, I mean, it's a miracle it actually went on, TV to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good point, because things like famously Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky, and he shopped it around to as many different studios as he could get to, and nobody would buy it from him. So
absolutely,
could you get the BBC to buy Doctor Who?
I mean, yeah, it's it's the context of what the BBC was like at that time. Would they? I mean, what is it? They're the sort of stuff that they come out with now is not very similar to Doctor Who. At least
True.
You know, you get good shows like Killing Eve and like I May Destroy You and stuff like that. Like an old man going about with his granddaughter and two teachers probably isn't what the BBC would be looking for nowadays. And you need to submit it in the writing section, which
the writers' room,
yeah, people barely look at, and it's just that they'll just scan through a million scripts and just go, no, you know, it's right place, right time, but also a good idea, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a weirdly depressing podcast, this one. God,
it is, but there are so many good ideas out there, and it's not. I think there are more good ideas than bad ideas. It's just
definitely
getting the good ideas to the the place that they need to be in order to grow.
I know what you mean. Have you got any final CRQs before we move on to bullshit to Electric Boogaloo?
Yes. So John Lennon is alive. So
yes.
Are all the Beatles alive?
That's a good point, because Paul McCartney is alive in real life, and the other one
is
Ringo. Ringo's alive.
Yeah.
So are they out? Was Ringo still Thomas the Tank Engine in this universe?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Did Ringo get the job because he's a skilled voice actor, or because he's Ringo? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's what I want to know as well. If I ever meet him, I'll rush up to him in a hurried fever and be like, Ringo.
Are you Ringo Starr from Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah. But
it is weird that they all have such normal names: John, Paul, and George, and then there's Ringo.
That's Starr.
Yeah.
With 2 R's.
Yeah, what a guy.
What a guy. But yeah, I think that's so they just didn't come together to make the Beatles.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know the story of how they met in real life.
No.
I guess whatever that event is just didn't happen.
Yeah,
it's a weird, crazy sort of concept. I do enjoy sort of speculative fiction, like what if fiction. I really, really do. Like Marvel, I think on Disney Plus, coming out with a What If series. For a long, long, long number of years, they've had comics called the What If comics. It's like, what if Loki killed Thor when they were kids? What would the world look like then? And I really enjoy sort of that in a strange way. I've always enjoyed those comics. There was one where Norman Osborn was like, what if Norman Osborn actually just turned into a goblin? Some of them are a bit stupid and some of them are a bit cool. But like, I think I watched the trailer for What If, which I think is an animated series. It's things like what if oh my god, I've forgotten her name as well. Agent Carter. Is it Peggy? Peggy Carter?
Yep.
Yeah, what if Peggy Carter was Captain America instead? What if, and then there was like a zombie Captain America and all this sort of stuff. It was, it all looks really cool. I do enjoy speculative fiction. I remember somebody tried to sell me on Fallout once by saying, oh, it's a world where it's like a speculative fiction of what if batteries didn't exist? What would you do then? I was like, that can't be what they've made all of those games about. I've never I tried to play Fallout 3 and hated it, and then since then I've tried to play other games like Fallout New Vegas and stuff, discovered that my system requirements are either not acceptable, or like I need to have Windows, or I can't get it on my console, or whatever. One day I'll play Fallout New Vegas.
Play Fallout New Vegas. Turn left in Doctor Who.
Yeah, that is speculative fiction, and I quite enjoyed that as well. I enjoy sort of That's a really good point. Yeah. If you know any good speculative fiction books, let me know, listener. You, Tim, from Doncaster. Let me know if you know a speculative fiction book that I would enjoy.
Tim from Ryslip.
That's a thing, isn't it? What do I know that from?
From The Thick of It.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. It's like Tim and Ryslip just appears and says something like a sort of big bombshell, and Malcolm in the other room is like, right, that's your career over, right? Okay, you're fucking dead. And as for Tim and Ryslip, that's the fucking nail in your coffin, dear. Tim, Ryslip, Tim and fucking Ryslip.
I love Peter Capaldi. He's such a good performer.
Yeah.
Darius has just hopped into the patron chat once more. Isn't Loki a series of what if? Darius, I have not watched Loki yet, so I honestly couldn't tell you.
That he is right. I've watched the first episode of Loki, and it is a
okay.
bit like that. But we won't spoil it because that I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yes, we will one day.
Yep.
Okay, I think that is it for CRQs. Do you want to do a closing statement and then the extra bullshit?
Yes, please.
Oh, lovely stuff. Okay, a very captivating film that I honestly struggled to look away from. A really well told human interest story that I really, really enjoyed. Speculative fiction plus a cute couple. I'm into that. That's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Everything he said, just don't make them get married next time, Richard. You fucking. But yeah. So there you go. That was yesterday. Yes.
Spin that wheel.
I will. H3H3 and Steven Crowder drama.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let me briefly Google H3H3 because I've only ever heard the name. I don't actually know what they are.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Ethan Klein and Hila Klein, American-Israeli husband and wife duo,
Hila.
best known for their YouTube channel H3H3 Productions. Majority of content on their main channel comprises reaction videos and sketch comedy in which they satirize internet culture. That sounds like my kind of thing. Are they good?
They are good.
Lovely stuff.
So, are you familiar with the name Steven Crowder as well?
Yes, I think he's a piece of shit, roughly shaped and dressed like a human man.
Yes, that's him.
That's the man.
That's
yep.
him. So for those that don't know, Lewis has just said that H3H3, Ethan and Hila are, YouTubers. They do reactions, and recently they're doing a podcast. A big podcast. They've got big names on it. Justin Roiland was on it from Rick and Morty. So they're doing not bad. And recently, Ethan has went into the sort of political sphere of YouTube.
That's a bold choice, isn't it?
Yes, where a dog whistling little white nationalist stirs called Steven Crowder, who is a big fucking racist, a big piece of shit, and they had some YouTube beef. And what happened was Steven Crowder does this thing where he invites people on and debates them. Well, I say that. He barely does it anymore. What he's most famous for is the Change My Mind segment, where he goes on to university campuses and essentially ambushes college students who don't have any media training and are supposed to defend really complex political positions to a guy who's got about 1 million people on staff for him to defend his carefully well thought out talking points. But that's by the by. So Stephen invites Ethan on to debate him about COVID, and it's
what is there to debate?
Yeah, well, you would think, wouldn't you?
Does COVID exist? Yes.
Stephen is the uber skeptic. He's like, well, I mean, do masks work? Is it really as bad as they all say? It is. Just to get that out of the way. But Ethan, being a smart boy with an eye at the end, decided to play a little trap card on Stephen.
You activated my trap card.
Yes, absolutely. There's another gentleman by the name of Sam Cedar, who
I've not heard of him either.
Well, he's a political commentator, and he's generally considered to be quite articulate and intelligent, and he's on the sort of left side.
Okay.
And Stephen has been running away from him for years and refusing to debate because he knows that he'll get his fucking arse kicked, won't he? So Ethan, being the smart boy he is, reached out to Sam, and both of them were preparing to sort of get Sam on while Ethan was on the show, Stephen's show. And so Ethan comes on, and they start talking, and they start sort of bantering back and forth, and Stephen soon realises that Sam is like coming into the chat, and his face does what can only be described as like the face a dog does when it's taking a shit. Like, just ashamed and afraid.
Ashamed, terrified, blank emotion. Yep.
Yep. So Stephen switches his camera off, and his dad steps in and starts speaking to Sam on Stephen's behalf. This big, debate me, bro. I'll talk to anyone, and then his dad comes on and has to talk to Sam, and the conversation lasts for about 15 minutes, and Stephen runs away, doesn't he? He escapes. He escapes the clutches of Mr. Cedar, and Ethan and Sam share a laugh or two afterwards, and it was incredibly entertaining to watch. Stephen Crowder is an incredibly influential YouTuber with over 6 million subscribers, and is backed by numerous wealthy people who spout lies and just outright conspiracy theories. He has people
here's a bit of a hot take, hot recommendation. If you hear somebody is sort of funded by a very wealthy backer, they are essentially a mouthpiece for the wealthy backer.
Yes,
absolutely. Stephen Crowder is funded by climate change deniers so that he can deny climate change. That's what they're saying, yeah.
Absolutely. He has people like Gavin McGuinness on, who is an outright neo-Nazi. He's spoken to Alex Jones, who, while very funny, is an outright conspiracy theorist and a grifter.
Alex Jones, the reddest man that has ever existed. It's just insane, Alex Jones. What a weirdo.
Yeah. So, he's not he's an incredibly immoral individual, and to see him humiliated in this fashion was very entertaining, and I do recommend that you go and watch. We're a bit late to it, but I just thought, no, I need to speak about this because it was really, really entertaining.
Oh, don't worry, we're shouting into the void, hot on the pulse of current events. Talking about it 3 weeks later.
Matt Hancock, we've got Stephen Crowder. Do you know what else will happen next week?
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Next week, Theresa May will be ousted from power. Whoa.
Oh wait, a year too late with that one. But there you go. So, that's the bullshit. That was what I talk about. So thanks for listening.
You're very, very welcome. That was very good. Yeah. It's one of my strange sort of thoughts about political commentators is I always think because I do watch and listen to some left wing commentators, and I know my politics are sort of very far left of centre. So I'm aware of the fact that is that just because I listen to a lot of left wing commentators. Before now, I have tried to find right-wing commentators that also cite sort of studies and sources and provide sort of backing and information for the claims that they make.
Yeah.
And I'm yet to find one. So, well, maybe I'm quite secure in my political beliefs, at least for now.
Yeah, maybe there's a trend there.
Yes, maybe.
Who knows? Yeah. So that was our 2 bullshit segments, and that was yesterday.
Indeed it was.
So shall we do some shilling, Lewis?
Yeah, let's do some shilling.
Okay. The podcast has link trees, and so do we. Lewis's link tree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram, and the podcast's is /shouting into the void. There you will find all our socials, our YouTube, our Instagram, our Facebook, where we post, we keep you updated. Go have a look and see what's there. See what you fancy.
Indeed, we've got all sorts of bits and bobs.
Absolutely. We also have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie.
Thank you, one and all. You are absolutely amazing. You allow us to make this show that we absolutely love to make. And you are just a huge help. Without Aditya, I would not have watched this movie. So
True.
Thank you very much to each and every one of our patrons for both allowing us to make the show and also enriching our lives with good movies.
Absolutely. If you want to join their esteemed ranks where you can give us your opinions, give us film and TV recommendations, then join our Patreon. today, and there's other perks where you get to listen to us live, as our good friend Darius is doing at the moment, and giving us hot commentary as we're speaking.
Yes.
That's a new medium that we hadn't even thought of, that we hadn't even tapped into. But, Darius has just done it.
Yeah. If you want to provide hot commentary while we're talking, you can.
Yep. You could even type in, "Shut up, Danny, you dick," and I would have to read it by law. Otherwise...
Yeah, I type that in about 20 times an episode.
Yep. Oh, he's typed it again. There you go. So join them today. And, thank you so much, guys.
Yes, thank you very much, one and all.
We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble, where we sell tote bags, jumpers, mugs, all sorts of stuff. So go have a look, see what you fancy, and if you don't fancy anything, then have an orange. That's always good.
You could have an orange. It does help with scurvy. I don't like raw oranges very much. I think the bits get in your teeth. It's a very frustrating experience. I would suggest having a peach instead. I quite like stoned fruit.
Well, you've went down in my estimation, Lewis, if truth be told. But certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which she crochets, and she's very, very good at it. If you would like a beautiful addition to your Instagram feed, you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue. You can get a spectacular edition which will lighten your days and brighten your evenings. I don't really know. But yeah, you can follow some aesthetically pleasing Instagram content at Number 12 Crochet Avenue. So thank you very much. Go and check it out.
Absolutely. Well... That was yesterday. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was right now.
Way! Well, folks, I don't know if you've been counting, but we are on episode 79 of the podcast, which is kind of crazy. And after 79, for those that took advanced higher maths, is episode 80. Whoa!
Oh, I did take a maths A level, and I didn't know that. So
yeah, well, there you go. I'm not going to show you my working. You're just going to have to trust me. So it's a very sort of special episode. We are going to set ourselves a challenge, and it's to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 to 3 in one fucking video.
Yep, we might lose our minds, but we're certainly going to do something.
Yeah, we certainly are.
So that's everything from sort of Iron Man 1 and the Incredible Hulk all the way, if I'm not entirely mistaken, to Avengers Endgame. Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
Fantastic.
And the fun doesn't stop there, folks.
Whoa.
Because after that, we're going to do episodes on WandaVision.
Whoa!
And Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Whoa!
Way! And when Loki's finished, we'll probably do that at some point as well.
Yeah.
Don't fucking rush us, Jesus.
So that's 80, 81, and 82.
Woo! All planned out for your pleasure. I can't wait. Oh, I better start writing notes, because that's a lot of fucking shit to talk about.
I haven't watched any of WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier at this point, so there's a fighting chance I might die. It's just trying to inhale all this content.
You may. Wow, I'll have to create another personality if you die, Lewis, and carry on.
You know what? The only other thing that would kill me would be watching the new Fast and Furious movie in, 4D. The seats are shaking, I'm getting sprayed with water, and the sound and the noise. I might just die from the sheer amount of coolness that's on screen.
If one of us died and the other one continued this podcast, it would be like Marvel at Phase 4. It would just be like, not as exciting. Not as...
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
But there you go. A wee bit of... I'm sure we'll be alive for many years to come.
Thanks, Dan.
So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you, hear you, smell you, plagiarize a famous band.
Yep.
Next time.
Indeed we will. Thank you very, very much for listening. We'll... tune in
Are you going
next
to
time.
One there?
Yeah, I was, but I gave up. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.